for the man accused of killing Misha Pavlik nearly 20 years ago begins. Regina businesses ready for the end of a long construction season. And drivers feel some relief at the pumps, but for how long?
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Lee is away tonight. It is a trial nearly 2 decades in the making. 19-year-old Misha Pavlik attending a graduation party in 2006 where he was killed. For years, the circumstances surrounding his death were a mystery. But tonight, some answers as the trial for the man accused of killing him began today. Sierra D'Souza Butts reports.
The month-long trial of a man accused of second-degree murder of Misha Pavlik is now underway at the Court of King's Bench here in Regina. Pavlik was 19 years old when he was fatally stabbed during a graduation party near Last Mountain Lake in spring of 2006. The man now accused of second-degree murder in connection with Pavlik's death cannot be identified as he was a youth at the time of the crime. After selecting 14 jury members in the morning, 2 of which will be excused before deliberations begin, the Crown presented its opening statement, sharing what the jury can expect to hear from witnesses over the next few weeks. The Crown telling members Pavlik was at a party with around 200 people in attendance when a group of individuals showed up, including the accused, saying it believes the jury will come to learn the group was not invited to the party and their arrival changed the mood of the event, leading to multiple fights that allegedly happened that night, which witnesses will speak on in addition to evidence presented in court. Adding, the Crown's opening remarks are not evidence of the case itself. Over the course of the 4-week trial, jurors will hear from as many as 47 witnesses. The second day of trial will start with the defense's opening statement. Witnesses are expected to take the stand shortly after here at Court of King's Bench. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatoon man has pleaded not guilty as he stands trial accused for killing his girlfriend. 28-year-old Andrew Rosenfeld is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 20-year-old Nakara Brown. She was found dead inside a Saskatoon home in November of 2020. Brown's family in court today wearing purple shirts in her memory. And 5 years after she disappeared in a case involving close to 60 police officers, RCMP have made arrests in the murder of Melinda Linkslag. Linkslag was reported missing in April of 2020. 3 years later, in June 2023, her body was discovered at an abandoned property in Santa Clara, Manitoba, a small community north of Roblin. The 3 people arrested are all known to Linkslag.
While this development brings a sense of relief, it also reopens the deep pain and emotion we have carried since her tragic death more than 5 years ago. Melinda is forever in our hearts. We continue to cherish her memory and celebrate her birthdays together with her children, keeping her spirit alive through love and remembrance. Her children hold close the memories they have of their mother, and at this time we have chosen not to share with them the details surrounding her death.
RCMP add this has been a complex investigation involving dozens of officers taking more than 150 statements and combing through thousands of hours of evidence. This investigation continues. The NDP is sharing a 5-point plan it believes will help address Saskatchewan's addictions crisis. The plan includes increasing funding for harm reduction and inpatient treatment beds, increasing inpatient detox services, funding sober living homes with wraparound services, and ensuring involuntary treatment is only used as a last resort for those who pose a serious risk to themselves or the public. It also has initiatives for recruiting and retaining addictions and mental health workers. NDP MLA Betty Nippy Albright says an average of 1 person has died from drug poisoning each day this year in the province.
These are people's mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and grandparents who are dying. We need action and real investments now.
The province has previously announced plans to add 500 treatment spaces in Saskatchewan, with most expected to be ready next year. CTV News has reached out to the government for additional comment. Crews are working down to the wire to complete 2 Regina Street projects, one on Dewdney Avenue in the Warehouse District, the other downtown. And as Wayne Mantica shows us, businesses who have been significantly impacted by closures over this summer hope work is completed before the snow falls.
The Quality Inn and Suites in downtown Regina has been in the midst of a construction zone for the past 2 summers, and it has been feeling the impact.
There's been 3 delays so far. We're told middle of November, but once that's done, I'm just back out and working hard to get our clientele back.
The city is revitalizing 11th Avenue through a 4-year project that began last year. The Chaperone Cafe reports a significant decline in business as it's surrounded by construction fences and barricades.
I mean, the traffic is going down, the foot traffic. Yeah, that's especially this year because they closed even the sidewalk.
The city still expects to finish the eastern portion of 11th Avenue downtown before the snow flies. It also expects to complete work on Dewdney Avenue in the Warehouse District, which was closed all summer. Bushwhacker Brew Pub is looking forward to completion of construction.
You know, for months and months and months, we've been looking at big holes and piles of dirt and lots of concrete, and now we've got the new asphalt and the beautiful street lights that are up and the center boulevard and the paving stones. And
customers are pleased with how the new Dewdney Avenue looks.
And this was always not maybe the best looking street in the city, and especially for how busy it is and the amount of storefronts that are up and down the street. But just now, even today, as this chunk is finished, looks fantastic.
It's been a little dicey. We've been using the back door a few times, but you know what? It's great to see the businesses continuing to thrive here, and we're near the end. It's almost done. So
businesses and customers will eventually be able to look beyond the inconvenience experienced over the past year or two, as completion of the projects make for a more inviting downtown and warehouse district. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Time now to bring in Sabine Ahmed for our first look at weather. Man, it was rainy and gross today, and summer's long gone for sure.
Yeah, I think we can finally say summer is gone. However, Donovan, we do have some very warm temperatures expected for the weekend, which some could think it's not second summer. We always talk about it. We're going to have a nice warm weekend ahead, but we do still have cooler temperatures to start this week. Like Donovan said, today in particular, Regina did see wind gusts up to about 70 for most of the day, anywhere between 60 to 70. Taking a look at the radar satellite, over the last few hours, continuing to see some of that precipitation in the eastern southeast portion where we did see some mixed precipitation, mix of rain and snow. Temperatures still quite cool as we take a look at our current temperatures. The average daytime high for Regina in particular, many parts of southern Sask, is usually about 10 degrees. We didn't even get to 5 today, but there is a gradual warm up on the way, and I'll talk more about that in your forecast. Donovan?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Drivers across the province are feeling the pressure on their pockets lighten as gas prices have seen a recent dip, reaching its lowest point in months. But how long will it last? Hallie Mandrick investigates.
The price of gas in Saskatchewan has many residents breathing a sigh of relief.
We've gone away from summer blend gasoline to winter blend gasoline. That's a savings of about 9 or 10 cents a liter. And that's one of the main reasons why we've seen prices drop. The Canadian dollar has strengthened a tiny bit until very recently, where it's weakened again.
This combination of factors has gas prices sitting as low as $1.08 per liter in Saskatoon and $1.17 in Regina, according to GasBuddy.com. For those who spoke with CTV, the drop in price was a pleasant surprise.
I have to fill up when we need because you have kids in 7 different activities, but do try and save money where we can.
Well, I filled up just the day before that the prices went down. So I'm sitting here with a full tank of gas.
We need to fill up the tank right away, and yeah, if knowing that it's cheap prices, might as well do it now.
It's not going to make a difference. If I pay attention to it, it's not going to make it go lower, and it's not going to make it go higher. But I have to have gas, and so I just pay it.
McTagg says prices are likely to increase later in the week due to a production issue in the United States last Friday.
In the Chicago refinery area where BP's Whitting plant had a fire, and that sent gasoline futures up about 20 cents a gallon, good for about an 8 cent a liter increase. So we haven't seen that baked into the price yet. We may very well get that if things don't turn around quickly.
McTagg also shared some advice for folks looking to save on their fuel, regardless of the time of year.
In many cities across Canada, the best deals are in the evening after 6 p.m. That's because gas stations often make enough money to cover their costs for the day, so they shed those retail margins.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The government of Saskatchewan is unveiling its long-term plan to power the province, called the Saskatchewan First Energy Security Strategy and Supply Plan. It includes extending the life of the province's coal-fired power plants to bridge the transition to nuclear power. In 2016, the federal government regulated all coal-fired power plants to be closed down after 50 years of use, or by 2030. But Minister of Crown Investments Jeremy Harrison says the province plans to rebuild coal power plants and run them until 2050.
This is what makes sense. We've been doing coal here in Saskatchewan for 100 years. Why would we spend $10 billion on gas plants? We would be importing gas from outside of Saskatchewan, by the way.
Now, this move has faced some backlash from the Saskatchewan Environmental Society, which says coal is a large contributor to climate change. A new gun lab in Saskatoon is aiming to increase the speed at which investigations are solved, keeping a crucial aspect of police work, which had previously had to be sent out of province nearby. Keenan Sorokon has the details.
The Saskatchewan Ballistics Laboratory has all the latest technology to become the home of gun testing for all law enforcement agencies in Saskatchewan. Rather than sending guns to be analyzed in RCMP facilities in Surrey and Ottawa and waiting weeks or months for updates, officers in Saskatchewan are sending guns here, and they're getting detailed results in hours.
You can bring a firearm in, get it analyzed, get it into the hands of investigators so that within, we're not talking day turnaround, we need to be talking hour turnaround to have a significant impact.
Minister Tim McLeod says the speed at which investigators can work and share information will also see charges laid sooner and have criminals in front of a judge earlier.
To have that information available within days rather than months is a significant advantage to the timeline on the prosecution.
From a water tank to a specially designed gun range, investigators can fire a number of weapons and safely capture the bullets and casings. Microscopes and the latest software can take those casings and guns and quickly share results with police across the world.
We can turn around and say, well, this casing, that firearm was used in an incident last week or last month.
Freeburg says weeks after the lab opened, a gun turned in by Saskatoon police was traced back to Atlanta. The lab helped recover the serial number, and working alongside the ATF in the United States, officers found the owner of the gun without having any leads beforehand.
This is a made for Saskatchewan product that helps law enforcement across this province, full stop.
As testing wait times plummet, the latest police tool for public safety is expanding, with plans to encompass the entire province by early next year. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Hundreds of high school students are learning about gender-based violence prevention. The YWCBA's Power of Being You conference focuses on teaching youth about creating a safe community for the next generation. Attendees experiencing a wide range of activities, including cultural performances, keynote speeches, and cyber safety awareness.
It started as, like I said, Power of Being a Girl, and then transitioned to Power of Being You when we realized that it was just as important that we involve young men in this conversation of disrupting gender-based violence as it is that we give young women and gender diverse folks the tools to keep themselves safe and build safer communities.
This week is the global YWCA's Week Without Violence. A new mural in downtown Regina has been unveiled, intended to advocate and promote free public transit for youth in the city. The new artwork is located on the back of the Salvation Army's men's shelter. Painting began earlier this month and was done by over 10 youth volunteers. Sustainability and climate action plans are a major point of the project.
I just hope that we can get up to a level where our land is not so polluted, so that we see beautiful murals like this more often, have more of a inclusive community.
I really hope we can keep doing big community projects like this. I feel like it's different, and we don't have much projects like this where everybody can come help.
This is the second mural done by the artist in Regina. Funding for this project came from the David Suzuki Foundation. Still ahead, Ottawa shifts its view on retaliatory tariffs. And Alberta teachers remain on the picket lines as the government looks to force them back to the classroom.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Thanks for staying with us. As the federal government faces criticism for exempting more U.S. and Chinese aluminum and steel imports from retaliatory tariffs, there are some signals there may be movement. Duties on those materials may come this week. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on what is in the works and what it could look like for the industry.
Signs of a potential deal are strong enough for the head of the Business Council of Canada to comment publicly.
There's reason to be cautiously optimistic that we're working towards some sectoral agreements on aluminum and steel and energy, more specifically. There's still work to do. We're optimistic that if they can get it to the finish line this week, something can be announced.
Maybe a reduction or a quota, but Goldie Hyder says we won't live in a tariff-free world.
This is not about China, it's about Canada.
Meanwhile, the finance minister is defending new counter-tariff exemptions for Canadian companies bringing in steel and aluminum from the U.S. and China.
So you're talking about a very small group of very specific products that needed to enter Canada to maintain the supply chain.
While the Canadian Steel Producers Association criticizes the exemptions for being too broad, Keenan Loomis represents Canadian steel fabricators and says the decision to exempt I-beam specifically is critical to about 500 Canadian businesses that work with the U.S.
This is really, really impactful when it comes to projects where my guys are working on American projects and bringing in the steel, engineering it, fabricating it here in our shops here in Canada, and then sending it back to the U.S.
The focus now, whether there will be a sectoral deal announced this week or during the Prime Minister's upcoming trip to Asia, where both he and the American president are expected to attend the APEC summit. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, as the number of Canadians targeted by frauds and other financial crimes continues to rise, the federal government is hoping to do something about it. This fall's budget will include plans for a new unit tasked with investigating money laundering and fraud. Mike LeCouture reports.
According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, financial scams cost people in this country $643 million last year. It's why, after 5 years of promising to tackle the problem, the Liberals are finally acting.
Budget 2025 will introduce Canada's first ever national anti-fraud strategy.
The strategy is also coming with a new agency that will target money laundering and online fraud. Canada plans to collaborate with other countries to target those transnational crimes.
We're talking to the FBI. We're going to talk to the financial crime unit in the UK. But, you know, my aim is to go after organized crime, is to go after those who scam and defraud Canadians.
There's no doubt that it's really late in the game.
Cybersecurity experts point out the Liberal government promised a financial crimes agency 5 years ago. And they say this multilateral collaboration with other countries is key to catching these types of criminals.
There's a culture of cooperation that needs to be built within our regulatory institutions, within our law enforcement, and within the financial system.
That's partly why the government will amend the Bank Act to require express consent from account holders before enabling services like e-transfers. They'll also require banks to have policies and procedures to detect consumer-focused fraud. The Canadian Bankers Association is on board and applauds the move to have a central financial crimes agency.
There's a lot of skills that involved, you know, the white collar, the movement of money, the complexities. And so having people that can be focused on that would be critical.
This is one of the many pre-budget announcements the government is making leading up to November 4th. And today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called on the Prime Minister to keep the deficit under $42 billion, something Mark Carney has already signaled will not happen. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The strike by Alberta teachers is entering its third week, keeping around 750,000 students and 51,000 teachers out of the classroom. And now the provincial government is threatening to legislate educators back to work should it continue. Now, the Alberta's Teachers Union is calling for better wages, smaller classroom sizes, and more supports for students with complex needs. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says students will start to feel irreparable harm if they're kept out of school any longer, adding she wants to form an education commission to address the concerns when this strike is over. The Royal Canadian Legion presenting the ceremonial first poppy to the Governor General in Ottawa today.
All the veterans, to all members of Canada and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, to all serving members of Canada's military forces, we thank you. It is with reverence and gratitude that I accept the first poppy.
This traditional event represents the ceremonial start to the Remembrance period and announces the coming National Poppy Campaign. It begins annually on the last Friday in October, as poppies will be available to the public beginning October 31st this year. The Legion says funds donated locally during the campaign are distributed locally to help support veterans and their families and promote remembrance. In Paris, the Louvre remains closed following a heist. Now, visitors lining up outside the famous museum this morning as it opened an hour late. However, officials later announcing the facility would be closed again for the remainder of the day.
It's kind of stunning because, well, I'm going out of the country in 2 days, so I've been planning this day for like 2 or 3 months.
I think they should have announced the closure last night rather than this morning after everybody was already in line. But it's a shame.
Now, the closure comes after an early Sunday morning raid when 4 thieves used a basket lift to enter the museum. Investigators say the group made off with 9 jewels from the collection of Napoleon. A crown containing more than 1,000 diamonds was later found broken outside of the building. Coming up, how the discovery of a unique World War II relic is connecting 2 families to their forgotten past.
Is coming to Saskatchewan Tuesday on Your Morning. We'll check in with the Canadian singer, songwriter, dancer, and choreographer to hear what to expect at his shows on the prairies.
All right, welcome back. A beautiful night now. It's not clearing, but we will eventually see the clouds starting to clear as we take a look outside through our Skycam, brought to you by the Hospital of Regina Foundation Home Lottery. Early bird deadline is this Friday, so make sure you head on over to their website and make those purchases before Friday at midnight. Currently sitting at 4 degrees in Regina. Winds at 35, gusting right now to 50. They had been gusting anywhere between 60 to 70 pretty much all day, so I guess they're starting to calm. Still quite high at 50, but we will start to eventually see those winds calm as we head into tomorrow, and the temperatures gradually start to warm up. We did warm up, we warmed up to about 3.9 earlier today, and we're still sitting around 4 degrees right now. So that also will start to see warm up as we head into tomorrow. In terms of active weather, well, this is what we were seeing over the last few hours on the radar satellite. Some scattered precipitation, some snow and rain, mixed precipitation for some areas. More wet snow rain mix, kind of slushy. Didn't really see a lot of snow falling and staying on the ground. It was primarily light rain showers. You can see that system over in Manitoba. We were seeing little parts of scattered precipitation in southern Saskatchewan, including Regina. For most of the day, we did see the light rain showers. As we head into tomorrow, we'll still see a mix of cloudy conditions and a little bit of sunshine, as we can expect to see some more precipitation coming through. As you can see, first thing in the morning tomorrow. This time, Starting out in the Saskatoon, Lloydminster area, could see some scattered precipitation as well. Even a slight chance with that pink there that we could see some freezing rain in that mix. Eventually, though, it'll just turn all to rain. We could see some scattered precipitation down in the Assiniboia, Regina, Swift Current area as well by the noon hour. And then it'll just continue making its way into Manitoba. So still a slight chance we'll see some scattered precipitation in and around the Regina area. And then also later in the day into the Parkland, Yorkton, Hudson Bay could expect to see some of that rain as well. And then by the time we get to Wednesday, you can see much of the province clearing out. A lot of clear conditions, a lot of sunshine expected by Wednesday. By Thursday, we could see a mix of sun and cloud, but also we will start to see a gradual warm up. Not temperatures like what we're seeing today for our daytime highs. Even tomorrow we can see, expecting to see warmer temperatures for Lloydminster. 12 degrees is the expected high tomorrow. 7 and cloudy for Prince Albert. 8 and cloudy for La Loche. 8 and some scattered precipitation in the form of rain for La Ronge tomorrow. Saskatoon, right within that seasonal or average temperature for Saskatoon. The daytime high average is about 9.8. So tomorrow mainly sunny and 9 degrees, 6 and cloudy for Yorkton, 11 and a mix of sun and cloud for North Battleford. The southwest back into double digits tomorrow, 13 for Maple Creek, 11 for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, 10 and cloudy in the southeast. A little bit more cloud cover, 9 and cloudy for Weyburn, 9 and mostly cloudy for Estevan, 11 and a mix of sun and cloud for Assiniboia. For Regina tonight, we are dropping below zero. -5 is the expected daytime high. Cloudy conditions tomorrow. We will see some peaks of, maybe very small peaks of sunshine. 9 degrees is the expected high for tomorrow. The logo didn't move. Someone's going to call and be mad at me. This is supposed to be on Saturday. I will have that fixed, I promise. But let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Cloudy and 9 degrees tomorrow. Sunshine on Wednesday, 12 degrees, 14 and a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. By Friday, mainly sunny, 16 degrees. And this, again, Saturday. Saturday is game day for the Riders. The last regular home season game, and that will be in the evening. So, of course, mostly cloudy. 17 is the expected daytime high. I would still suggest to dress in layers because it will be cooling off quite a bit as we head into the evening. And then by the time we get to Monday, we'll see those temperatures come back down. So a gradual warm-up for this week, Donovan, and more sunshine expected. We just started off in a not-so-fun way.
Yeah, I noticed those mid-teen temperatures. That's what's comfortable about this time of year. It's when it gets like really gloomy and, man, what did you say, 75-kilometer-hour winds today?
Well, at some points we were close to 70, 73. Very high winds doesn't help when it's rainy and cloudy, but the winds will calm by tomorrow, and there's more sunshine on the way, Donovan.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sabine, and we look forward to Saturday. Good weather on Saturday for that.
All Riders.
Well, all right.
Oh, hi. Still here. Donovan, back to you. All right.
Thank you so much. Well, it's the kind of discovery you'd never expect from an old book. A piece of the past now connecting 2 families, 2 provinces, and 1 remarkable chapter of Canadian history. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
We have 2 different kinds. We have a ration book 5 and we have ration book 6. So
it's the last thing Sherry Laurent expected to find when she picked up a couple of old books from a church sale in St. Lambert, Quebec, more than 30 years ago.
I can't remember if they were all in one book or maybe in 2 or 3 books, and I just noticed them and I thought, oh, I'll take these books.
Tucked between the pages, pieces of history frozen in time.
This one was the newer version. It has a couple more pages.
They were ration cards issued to Canadian families during the Second World War when things like sugar, meat, and butter were strictly limited to help stretch supplies and support the war effort.
My parents are both deceased, but they, lived through the war and that sort of thing. So I've heard about them, but I had never seen them in person.
For years, she kept them on a shelf before moving to Ottawa, where they sat in a box until recently when she came across them again and wondered who did they belong to. So she turned to Facebook, posting a few photos and a name.
Within minutes, I had a couple of people, hey, I know that family, I could put you in touch with somebody. So it literally took less than an hour.
Her search led her to Ian Keeler in Brossard, Quebec, the grandson of Don and Agnes, known as Nessie Keeler. The names written on the outside of the books, which also belonged to his father and uncle.
The part is really interesting. I'm a very big interested in my genealogy. So I was very, very keen to get those ration cards because to me it added another piece of the history.
He says his grandfather had immigrated from Trinidad, served in the First World War, and married his wife in Scotland before the couple settled in what's now St. Hubert, Quebec.
It's a lot harder to find stories and the links to the past when the people are no longer with us. You've got to go with little bits and pieces of paper you find in books.
Now Ian's sister plans to meet Sherry in person to collect the ration cards, a small act of kindness closing a chapter roughly 80 years in the making.
That book has two stories. That is the original story of the book and also the story of the World War II ration cards. And I think that's just very, very, very interesting.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
The Regina Thunder taking the next step in their Prairie Football Conference title defense with a semifinal win over the Edmonton Huskies yesterday.
As he waggles out to the right, they fake a pass to him, and here's Harnett right through the middle. Oh, nice move! Harnett to the 10, to the 5, to the house with a dagger.
Regina rolling to the 49-10 win on the backs of their run game. The victory sends the Thunder to their 5th straight PFC title game as they look to win back-to-back championships for just the first time in franchise history.
We want to play every game possible, right? And none of these games are guaranteed anymore, so we take every one as a special opportunity. And yeah, we know that what the stakes are and what's on the line.
Just the guys in the locker room being fully bought in, a bunch of good dudes that work hard and, you know, like they're really focused, and guys are putting the extra time and effort in, watching film and asking great questions and listening and buying into the scheme.
So Regina will take on their provincial rival, the Saskatoon Hilltops, in the championship game. That game is set for Sunday at Mosaic Stadium. WHL, the Regina Pats are back in the win column, breaking a 3-game losing streak.
Top, Caden Brown to the Brandon slot. McNutt scores!
Ephraim McNutt scoring twice, both goals on the power play for Regina as the Pats beat the visiting Wee Kings 6-4 Saturday night. Meanwhile, in Moose Jaw, the Warriors falling to the Saskatoon Blades 8-5 at the Temple Gardens Center. Game 7 ALCS as the Toronto Blue Jays are 1 win away from their first World Series appearance since 1993.
This pitch. Pass to diving Guerrero and into right, a base hit. Rodriguez getting the wave and will come in to score the first run of the night.
Not a great start for the Jays. Josh Naylor, Canadian from Mississauga, RBI single, draws first blood for the Mariners in the do-or-die Game 7. Weird end to the inning as well, but Toronto would get out of it with limited damage. It is currently 1-1 in the top of the second inning. Dalton Varsho also hitting an RBI single in the bottom of the first. Jays threatening to, hopefully continue on to the World Series. Yes, so wait, win tonight sends the Jays to the World Series, but a loss means the season comes to an end. And in their quest for the AL pennant, Jays mania spreading far beyond the 6. And as the team feels strong support from an entire country, Adrian Gorbriel explains.
When the Northern Lights are their brightest, this baseball team has brought a nation to its collective feet. It's been 32 years since Joe Carter touched them all. A decade since Batista's blast. Well, this current iteration of the Toronto Blue Jays has fans flying high once again, prompting some to hop a flight for the big game, with one pilot even sketching the Blue Jays logo with his flight path over Nova Scotia.
You got a diamond, you got 9 men.
Canadian rock stars have been strumming along this postseason to the Blue Jays anthem.
You got them to spring till fall.
In Victoria, fans caught the ferry to games 3, 4, and 5 in Seattle.
There's only 30 teams in the MLB, and Canada only has one of them, but it only takes one to win.
Lifelong Expos fans are even pulling for Vladdy Sr.'s son, taking the trip from Montreal.
We're going to Game 7.
This postseason run has brought families and Canadians together and given rise to the next generation of Blue Jays Nation.
We're very excited. Let's go, Blue Jays!
It might be fall in Canada, but hope does spring eternal across the country this October with one common goal, one common purpose.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball.
And play ball they will tonight. The two most intense words in sports, Game 7. The hopes of a nation hangs on each pitch, on every swing of the bat. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Regina's economic future is looking bright. What indicators are pushing growth? Still ahead on the CTV News at 6. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast as we head into tomorrow. So a gradual warm-up is on the way compared to some of the temperatures we saw today. However, central and northern Saskatchewan did see some temperatures a little warmer than what we saw further south, especially with those very high wind gusts that we saw come through. In terms of cloud and sunshine, a little bit more sunshine expected in the western half of the province. 6 and cloudy for Melfort and Wynyard, mostly cloudy, and 6 for Hudson Bay. Mainly sunny for Watrous at 9 degrees and back into the double digits. Meadow Lake and Outlook 11 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. Lloydminster 12 degrees, Kindersley 13, all seeing a mix of sun and cloud. Closer to the southern border, a little warmer again, 11 degrees for Coronach, Rockland, East End, Cypress, 13 expected tomorrow for Leader and Maple Creek. Again, to compare, the daytime average usually is hovering around between 9 and 10 degrees, so a little cooler in the east there. 7 for Broadview, Carlisle, 5 for Kenora. If we take a closer look at Duck Lake, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, located about 95 kilometers northwest of Saskatoon. Known for its name, or believed to have gotten its name because of the high multitude of ducks that would migrate to that area early spring, late fall. So there could be some ducks in that area now. 8 degrees is what we can expect tomorrow with the winds up to 20.
The incident happened on October the 8th, 2025 at around 2:30 in the afternoon on the 2000 block of Prince of Wales Drive. 2 men and a woman entered a business and stole thousands of dollars worth of product. Police are asking for your assistance to identify these 3 suspects. If you recognize one or all of the 3 suspects, call Crime Stoppers or police.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina. Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
The Conference Board of Canada's outlook for Regina's economy is optimistic and includes some key factors affecting growth for the remainder of 2025. Household disposable income is expected to grow at a moderate pace with steady job creation and a tightening labor market to help support wage gains. Regina's employment rate is expected to rise 2.4% in the remainder of this year, even as job gains cooled in the last 2 quarters. Trade talks with the U.S. continue to stall, however, with no end to those tariffs in sight, bringing continued uncertainty, dampening business investments in the near future. The Federal Conference Board says this will impede progress on 2 of Regina's largest construction projects, moderating growth in the manufacturing and construction industries. A Saskatchewan-based forum is hoping to come up with a different approach to dealing with Ottawa. Known as the Prairie Rising Forum, nearly 20 speakers sharing their perspectives on what they call complex issues impacting both people in Saskatchewan and in Alberta. The speakers, including Freedom Convoy leaders Tamara Leitch and Chris Barber, along with several other podcast hosts who touched on a wide area of topics, including independence, federal overreach, and much more.
Our goal today was to bring some talented individuals up on stage and to inform our fellow Saskatchewanians on where they see things are going, and we can make a decision or on what steps to take next.
Organizers say around 250 people were in attendance, and a similar forum was held in Calgary last May. St. John Ambulance is recognizing volunteers in the medical sector, and that includes paramedics, first aiders, emergency responders, and even therapy dogs. The organization says with several wildfires and widespread evacuations in the province this year, volunteers provided comfort and compassion to evacuees, assisting those who needed it most.
It's a day that allows us to thank everyone, invest them in as members of the order, provide thank yous to everyone who's done extraordinary service. We've got life-saving awards for individuals of the public who have saved lives, and we've got therapy dogs, a little bit of everything.
The national organization has 300 community service volunteers in the province who deliver about 30,000 hours annually in responsive services. St. John Ambulance also teaches first aid courses from coast to coast. In an effort to bring back a long-standing tradition, a unique relay race is highlighting inclusivity. The 2025 Wheelchair Relay Race is supporting Spinal Cord Injury Saskatchewan. The event aims to spread awareness about the different services and support programs in place for over 1,000 people in Saskatchewan.
It's really important to raise money. This money all goes to support our programs and services. So whether we're working with accessibility and inclusion or peer support services, education and employment, so the money stays in the province of Saskatchewan and goes to support all of our services.
Last year, Spinal Cord Injury Saskatchewan raised close to $10,000, and organizers say the initiative continues to grow with more sponsors putting their names behind the wheel. Well, let's take a look at the market boards today. TSX up nearly 308 points to 30,406. The Dow Jones up over 515 points to 46,706. Canadian dollar up about a tenth of the cent to 71.26 against the U.S. greenback. Commodities front, gold up $104 to 4,356. West Texas Intermediate crude down about 13 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude also down about 26 cents. Gas in the Queen City is trending downwards, as we saw earlier in the show. The low right now, you can find it for about $1.06, but is most commonly found for $8.23.
The majority of Canadian goods sent to the U.S. are covered under CUSMA, so they're tariff-free. But clearly, tariffs are still a concern for business owners. In the Bank of Canada's latest survey, they say uncertainty remains their top worry. Companies are spending more on routine maintenance than growing their business, and about a third now expect Canada to hit a recession. That's up from the last survey. Molson Coors is cutting 9% of its workforce. About 400 jobs are being lost across Canada, the U.S., and Latin America. Alcohol companies have been grappling with tariffs and cautious consumer spending. The company expects to incur costs of about $35 million from the layoffs. IM Gold is making acquisitions worth almost $400 million. The gold miner is buying Northern Superior Resources and Mines d'Or Orbec. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Well, getting close to the end of the show. No tonight on CTV. Maybe we'll find out what's on tomorrow night. But millions around the world and across Canada are celebrating Diwali tonight.
Yeah, that's right. The annual Festival of Lights is one of the most significant dates in Hinduism. A record 2.6 million Sarayu lamps were lit along riverbank in India to mark the festival. Tonight in Regina, the Hindu temple is hosting festivities beginning in 2 minutes, less than. They're probably already celebrating. It's always a beautiful festival. Karaoke has gone to the dogs thanks to an owner and his furry friend.
I now lose it. Just lose it. Go crazy. Oh baby. Oh baby.
This is Dinero the Frenchie, and he loves the hairdryer, which gave his owner a hilarious idea, and they lip sync to Eminem after every grooming session. I do that too.
Just by yourself.
Yeah.
I know you're focused on a baseball game right now, so this is really hard for
1-1. Bottom two.
We'll see you tomorrow.